Here are 15 thriller books you need to add to your TBR. Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name's Carly. I'm a mixed genre mood reader, but thrillers have always been my jam. All of these books are fast-paced with shocking twists. They will mess with your mind. And if you're like me and you love giving yourself anxiety when you read your books, then these are the books for you. So some of these are the more popular kind of book talk books that you see everywhere. And there's also a few more underrated thrillers on here that you may not have heard of. So yeah, let's get into the books. Starting off with an absolute classic, The Housemaid by Frida McFadden. I know this book is everywhere. Like, so many people are talking about it. It's actually being made into a film. I know that Frida McFadden is kind of like a love her or hate her author, but this is actually the book that got me back into reading. So it does kind of hold a special place in my heart. It follows the story of Millie, who lands a job as a live-in cleaner / nanny for Nina and Andrew Winchester. Millie has been down on her luck. She's an ex-con, so she's hoping that this opportunity is kind of going to be her break. Millie is hiding the secrets of her past and the reason that she's an ex-con, but she soon discovers that the Winchesters also have some secrets of their own. First half of this book, I felt so frustrated while I was reading it because I was just getting infuriated with the behaviour of some of the characters. If you know, you know. But the midway twist in this book, literally, I had to put the book down. I had to put it down and process what I just read before I could pick it back up again. It literally blew my mind. It's short, snappy, it's easy to read. Overall, it's a solid thriller and a great entry into the thriller genre if you're looking to dip your toe. This is also available on Kindle Unlimited. Right, so this is actually one I don't see talked about at all anywhere, and it's so underrated, it's so good. The Phantom Child by A.J. Wills. This is also on Kindle Unlimited. After a difficult few months, Karina and her husband take themselves off on a holiday to Turkey with their 4-year-old son, Jacob. Their relationship has been strained, things haven't been great, so they're hoping this holiday is going to be just the break they all need. But the first morning Karina wakes up, she's horrified to discover that she slept in late and her usual early riser, Jacob, hasn't come in to see her. Immediate panic sets in when she goes to Jacob's room, discovers he's not there, and she raises the alarm with her husband, only for him to turn around and tell her they haven't got a son and he's never heard of anybody called Jacob. Like, what? And so the story develops and you're left wondering as a reader, is Karina this really unreliable narrator that's losing her mind? Or is there foul play? The anxiety this book gave me as a mother myself, honestly, was unmatched. And I really don't understand why people aren't talking about this book more, because it's so good and the twists in it are wild. Next up, we've got one of my absolute faves, Strange Sally Diamond by Liz Nugent. Oh my God, this book has probably one of the best opening paragraphs, which, shall I read it to you? I'm going to read it to you. Put me out with the bins, he said regularly. When I die, put me out with the bins. I'll be dead, so I won't know any different. You'll be crying your eyes out. And he would laugh, and I'd laugh too, because we both knew that I wouldn't be crying my eyes out. I never cry. Literally, Sally's dad is telling her to put him out with the bins when he dies. And Sally, being Sally, takes this at face value and literally does put her father out with the bins when he dies. And because of this, she's ended up becoming the centre of attention, not just locally, but there's a strange man on the other side of the world, a stranger who's got his eye on Sally as well. Sally's father has left her 3 letters to open upon his death. The first one is kind of more like an instructional letter, you know, what to do, funeral arrangements. Obviously, he didn't mean for her to put him out with the bins, but it's too bleeding late now. And then the other letters delve more deeply into Sally's past, and she quickly discovers how horrific her childhood was. Sally Diamond is one of my favourite book characters of all time. She's very straight talking, she's very matter of fact, and she's such a lovable, relatable character. I found myself relating to her and laughing out loud quite a few times at some of the things she was saying. Honestly, I love her. This book deserves all the hype that it gets, but what I will say is I didn't expect it to be as dark as it was. So yeah, please check trigger warnings because there's some dark stuff in there. Next up, we've got Hidden Pictures by Jason Raculak. So after celebrating a 1.5 years of sobriety, Mallory is over the moon to have landed herself the perfect job as a live-in nanny in an affluent area looking after 4-year-old Teddy. However, there's always a however. Teddy starts drawing the creepiest pictures I think I have ever seen. I'm going to show you now. Look at that. Like, honestly, they're actually so nice to have all of the pictures in the book. It's all the way through. So yeah, he starts drawing these super creepy pictures and talking to Mallory all about his imaginary, definitely dead friend, Anya. Mallory is obviously extremely freaked out by all of this. I mean, who wouldn't? So she confiscates all of Teddy's drawing stuff, like confiscates his crayons, confiscates his paper, and yet the drawings keep turning up. And worse, they actually start getting more and more sophisticated. So they stop being like creepy kid pictures and they start being like really intricate kind of like artist sketches. Very strange. This book actually really creeped me out. I don't know if I'm just a bit of a baby, but it really freaked me out. It's very atmospheric. It had my heart racing. And the twist in this absolutely blew my socks off. I am telling you now, nobody will ever guess the twist in this book. It is wild. Next up, we've got another one of my faves, The Only One Left by Riley Sager. Lenora Hope is mute, paralysed and bound to a wheelchair, and everybody in her town believes that she is the mass murderer responsible for the death of her entire family decades ago. Because her whole family died and she was the only one left. But her new live-in caregiver, Kit, brings a typewriter to Lenora, and using one finger, Lenora slowly starts typing out her side of the story. Oh God, this book, I loved it so much. I loved the gothic setting of it. So it's set in a really gothic, creepy house that's on top of a cliff that's fallen apart. So you've kind of got like that imagery of the unstable house versus the unstable kind of like family dynamics. I feel like the house falling down around everybody was the perfect representation of all of the lies and secrets unraveling as well. Honestly, it's so good. Also, I said this in my last video, but one thing you'll know about me is I never guess twists, and I was so confident that I had guessed the twist in this book, and then I was hit with about 5 different twists. Literally, the end of this book gave me whiplash. I didn't know what on earth was going on, but in the best way. So yeah, if you love a creepy, gothic, atmospheric, super twisty book, then you need to add this one to your TBR immediately. Next up, we've got TheOne by John Marrs. So this is one of John Mars's speculative thrillers. He's got 2 different types of thrillers. So he's got more like psychological thrillers, and then he's got kind of like a series of speculative thrillers. They can all be read as standalones because there's no interconnecting characters or anything, but it is advised you start with this one just because there's little Easter eggs throughout each book, and they kind of make a bit more sense if you start with this one. So basically, this one is all about finding the one. So with a simple mouth swab, you can do a DNA test to find your perfect match, your perfect DNA match, soulmate, person you're genetically meant to be with. But there's always a but. What if your DNA match is not at all what you were expecting or hoping for? I was going to go into a little bit more detail on this book, but I actually think it's probably better to go in blind, just because that's what I did. And when you find out who certain people have been matched with, honestly, my reaction, I just loved it so much. There's so many different dynamics. There's different relationships. There's people who are in relationships who are dying to know if their husband or partner are their actual DNA match. There's obviously single people wanting to know who their DNA match is. And then there's people that find out their DNA match and probably wish they hadn't. I absolutely love a book that makes me think, and this book was one that made me think, like, what would I do? Would I take the test? Would I want to know? Like, I don't know, what would you do? This has actually been made into a Netflix series as well. And all I'll say is, if you've seen the Netflix series, don't judge the book on that series, because the series is absolutely nothing like this book. As always, the book was better. Next up, we've got a dark thriller, The Executioner by Chris Carter. So this is actually book 2 in the Robert Hunter series. These all can be read as standalone. So even though it's book 2, you can read it if you haven't read book 1. So basically these books follow Robert Hunter and his partner Garcia. They both work in the ultra-violent crimes unit in LA and basically hunt some of the worst serial killers ever. And this particular one in this book is his victims by using their worst fears against them. I've read 9 out of the 13 books in this series, and this is one of my favourite books. Oh my God. There's a scene in this book that will live rent-free in my head forever. If you've read this book, you will know exactly the scene I'm talking about. It is grim. And when I was reading it, I was literally looking at it like this, like almost through my fingers because I couldn't read it. It was so graphic. This is classic Chris Carter. It's got short chapters. Each chapter always ends on a cliffhanger. So you're always like, one more chapter, one more chapter. I inhaled this book. These books are like Criminal Minds, but with the gore of the Saw films. Like, they're so good. I love them. Next up, we've got Rock, Paper, Scissors by Alice Feeney. This one is also on Kindle Unlimited. I actually feel like this book is kind of an opinion divider. I actually posted a reel on Instagram. I think this one was books with jaw-dropping twists. And people either loved or hated this book. Obviously, I'm in the love it camp. This follows the story of Adam and Amelia, who are on a romantic weekend in the Scottish Highlands. But their weekend is far from romantic. The setting is creepy, isolated. There's no power, there's a storm, all the ingredients for the perfect thriller. And one thing I will say is that Alice Feeney does isolated, creepy settings so well. This book is so toxic. The lies and the toxic relationships and I just love it. I love a book like this. And the twist in this book literally had me rereading the previous few chapters because I thought I'd read it wrong. I love it when a twist gets me that good. It's also just over 300 pages, so it's another short, easy read. Next up, we've got Stillhouse Lake by Rachel Kane. This is another one on Kindle Unlimited, and this is another one that I think is really underrated. I absolutely love this book, and I hardly see anybody talking about it. This follows the story of Gina. She lives your average, happy life as a housewife, mum to 2 children, until one day a freak accident reveals her husband's secret life as a prolific serial killer. Gina realises she must create a new identity and a new life for her and her children and escape the absolute chaos that her husband has left behind. But Gina has got online stalkers and trolls that believe that she was somehow involved in these crimes, and they are getting closer and closer to her new life. This book is high stakes, anxiety inducing. Gina's actually got a panic room in her house. I mean, if that doesn't say it all, I don't know what does. Honestly, it had me stressed, but in the best possible way, because that's what you want from a thriller book. Next up, we've got another one that's on Kindle Unlimited, The Last Party by A.R. Torrey. Wowie, this book. I actually think the character in this book is probably one of the most despicable characters I have ever come across in a book. It follows the story of Perla, who plays the role of housewife and mother to perfection. But Perla has a secret. She has become obsessed with an old case from 23 years ago where 2 young girls were murdered during a birthday party. And Perla has decided she wants to recreate this party with her own daughter. Honestly, she is despicable. She's unhinged. But I couldn't stop reading about her. She was almost like my guilty pleasure, you know? I did actually guess the twist to this one, but it didn't affect my overall enjoyment of the book, and I highly recommend it if you love an unhinged FMC. Next up, we've got Kill for Me, Kill for You by Steve Kavanagh. I absolutely inhaled this book. I couldn't put it down. One night, 2 strangers meet by chance, and after a couple of drinks, they realise they've got a lot in common. And they both desperately want revenge against 2 men who have absolutely destroyed their lives. Together, they come up with the perfect solution. If you kill for me, I'll kill for you. This is so fast-paced. I couldn't turn the pages quick enough. It literally consumed me. And it's one book I feel puts the psychological in psychological thriller. Loved it. Next up, we've got Grey After Dark by Noelle W. Eiley. So this follows the story of Miley, who takes a summer job at a guest lodge to take her mind off the fact that her Olympic dreams have been put on hold. But things take a turn for the worse, as they always do. And Miley is abducted during one of her morning runs and taken to an off-grid, isolated cabin. If she is to escape and survive, she needs to outwit and outrun her captors. Oh my God, the claustrophobia and anxiety I felt while I was reading this book was something else. Your girl was stressed. You know, there's like psychological thrillers, domestic thrillers, detective thrillers. Well, I'm actually putting this into a new category of anxiety thrillers. My heart was racing, my palms were sweaty, knees weak, arms are heavy. I really hope you get that reference, otherwise I'm going to look like a right fool. And even more wild, it's based on a true story. Yeah. It's a good one. Next up, we've got The Last Thing to Burn by Will Dean. I actually spoke about this on my reading wrap-up video, which is my previous video, and I couldn't not add it into this video. Basically, it follows the story of Jane, who is being held captive literally by her own husband. She is desperate to escape her extremely miserable life. Her husband is horrible to her. He records her every move. If she does something he doesn't like, she gets punished. This is another one that's extremely claustrophobic and anxiety inducing. It's the captivity trope. It just gets me every time. And I actually read this one in one sitting. It's only a short book. It's like 250 pages, I think. Highly recommend. Next up, we've got I Found You by Lisa Jewell. I actually think this is Lisa Jewell's most underrated book, and I really don't know why more people aren't talking about it. I've read loads of Lisa Jewell books. I think some of her most popular books are None of This Is True and Then She Was Gone. I absolutely loved both of those books, but this one, nobody ever talks about this book, and it's so good. So you've got two different storylines in this book. One follows the story of Alice, who finds a man stranded on the beach outside her house. He doesn't know his name. He doesn't know how he got there. He's lost his memory. It's all a bit mysterious. And then you've got the story of Lily, who has been abandoned by her husband of 3 weeks after he didn't come home from work one night. The constant questions throughout this book: who is this man? Where has he come from? Why can't he remember anything? This book had me hooked from the very beginning and had me invested all the way through. The mystery of it. I was desperate to find out what had happened to him, where he'd come from. The characters are really well developed. It keeps you guessing the whole way through. What more could you want? And last but not least, the only book I don't have a physical copy of, I actually think is coming today, In the Blink of an Eye by Joe Callahan. I literally finished this book last night and oh my God, I absolutely loved it. It's such a unique concept. So it's kind of a police detective thriller, but one of the detectives in it is an AI called Locke. So Locke is kind of being used as a trial to see if he can help cut down on the man hours and the lack of resources and everything. And it's basically about instinct versus logic. So Kat, who is a human detective, trusts her instinct and her gut, whereas Locke trusts logic only. They start working on missing person cold cases together, which soon become active cases. There's banter between the two of them because they butt heads and they disagree, but ultimately they must work together to solve these crimes. It is such an original concept and plot. I absolutely loved the banter between Kat and Locke. The AI element of this book was so interesting, especially considering today's current climate. I was instantly hooked. The opening chapter was an absolute cracker and I cannot wait to carry on with the series. This is book 1 of 3. So Leave No Trace is book 2 and I'm going to try and get to that this month too. And that's it. Thank you all so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please hit the like and subscribe button. It really, really helps push my content out, especially as a brand new channel. Please let me know in the comments if you've read any of these books, what you've thought of them, if you've got any recommendations of your own, and also if there's any videos in particular that you would love to see from me, because I'd love your feedback. I'll see you all next time.